So we are reading from the chapter, the doorkeepers cursed by the sages, the four Kumaras. So here, Brahma, Lord Brahma, is explaining the scenario of the sages leaving that place. Vaikunthaṃ ca swayam prabham. They had the darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord of Vaikuntha, and here he is known as Nayanananda Bhajanam. Nayana means the eyes, Ananda Bhajanam. The darshan produces the pleasure in the eyes. So the Lord's form is so fascinating and so beautiful to see that it produces Ananda Bhajana, a great pleasure in the eyes, particularly of the devotees. Each senses have their own pleasure objects, and the eyes, by design, it derives pleasure only by looking at the form of the Supreme Lord, by design. And if you see anything other than that, however beautiful it may be, the eyes are not satisfied. Temporarily, for some time, the eyes appear to be satisfied by looking at other beauty, but actually, deep inside, there is a dissatisfaction. By design, we are meant to derive pleasure, Nayanananda Bhajana, from looking at Vishnu or Kṛṣṇa's fascinating form. So the scriptures, they describe the form of the Supreme Lord repeatedly. And they also explain that that beauty is not to be found anywhere else. That kind of a fascinating beauty certainly cannot be found within this material world. These four Kumaras, they are one of the first generation produced by Lord Brahma in the universe. The universe is still empty. They are the first sages. So that means they would have seen his father's beauty, or whatever little beauty that is surrounding them. But when they saw Lord Vishnu, then Nayanananda Bhajanam, they became fascinated. Wow, what a form. So that is the process of Kṛṣṇa consciousness, how to revive that fascination for the Supreme Lord. This is our movement. Kṛṣṇa consciousness movement is meant to revive our original fascination for the Supreme Lord. So that fascination is currently covered. It is covered. It is covered by the three modes of material nature. It's like a cloud, it has covered. The soul feels like looking at a beauty, but because of the covering, we decide to see the beauty within this world. Continuously the eyes are searching for the beauties all around. And in the material world, they have taken advantage of this. They know everybody is fascinated by beauty. So they conduct this Miss World and competitions every year. And then they release a set of beauties into the market. And we see, and then in our state they decided to invite all these Miss Worlds. I think last 1 or 2 years, a big gang is going to come there. And they are going to tour all over the state and then promote some, I think, government programs. Because beauty attracts people. They become celebrities. Mm. Um, we can call such beauties to promote our temple construction. She can stand on the top of the, that already constructed temple and say, yes, see, I'm standing here, please complete. So, these six opulences attracts the attention of the jiva. We become fascinated as soon as we see these opulences in someone. It could be beauty, it could be wealth, or it could be all the other opulences. So, out of all this, beauty is particularly irresistible. Particularly in this age, where most of the population are always lusty. So, this particular opulence, beauty, is very fascinating. So that's why, as long as we are attracted to beauty of this world, we will not be able to appreciate the beauty that is described in Bhagavatam about the Supreme Lord. So the impetus is to see the beauty of the Lord, but Maya brings some other object and say, look, this is what you are searching for. And we fall for that beauty, and that's called Maya. Maya cheats the jiva. What is this cheating? We want to see Kṛṣṇa, that is the original impetus of the soul, but Maya presents something else and says, see, this is the most beautiful. And then immediately we fall for it, and then we pursue further steps, and after falling for that beauty. So this is the Maya's trick. It cheats the jiva. So here the sages had the darshan of the Lord personally, Nayanananda Bhajanam. So Vaikuntham tadadhistanam. This is adhisthanam. It's a living place of Vishnu. Actually, initially when I was reading Prabhupada books, some of these statements, they struck me. It's a living place of Vishnu, living place of Kṛṣṇa. Prabhupada says, like you have a living place, he also has a living place. After becoming a devotee, of course, these things have become common to us, but actually, for an ordinary person who is always having an impersonal concept, these statements are very unique. He also has a place of living that is called tadadhisthanam. Adhisthanam tatha katha. Even 18th chapter it says there are 5 factors for every accomplishment, and one of the factors is adhisthanam, a proper place. If you want to accomplish anything, there has to be a proper place. And if you want to attain Kṛṣṇa consciousness, the proper place is ashram. That is called adhisthanam. In all other places, you will see false beauties and you will be cheated. But in this place, you can see the beauty of Kṛṣṇa Balaram, particularly Mangalarati beauty. So you be ready by 4:30 and then you can see the beauties. They look very shining and very beautiful. And so that shining also attracts the jiva. If somebody is not only beautiful but is also emanating some kind of a little effulgence, immediately we become very attracted, isn't it? That tejas or whatever you call, ojas, tejas, many sentences are there, that also attracts the people. So imagine they are looking at Lord Vishnu, 400 Lord, and his form, each and every anga is beautifully built, and he is effulgent, and the sages have never seen such a beauty. They become very fast. So they had the darshan, and then it's time to leave that place. Vaikuntham cha swayam prabham. So that's the sages are about to leave that transcendental abode. So whenever we see anything in this world, we try to see with the mood of enjoying. The conditioned soul is like that. It is so wired that whenever we see any beauty, it is with the intention of enjoying. But when we look at the Lord's beauty, we should see with the mood of service. It should not be in the mood of an enjoyer. Now I am going to enjoy this beauty of the Lord. Although it is said that Lord is actually enjoyed by his devotees because they drink his wonderful beauty through their eyes. In the conditioned stage, we have to look at the Lord with the mood of offering our services. My master is so beautiful. That should be the thinking. Look at my master. Wow, fascinating. Hero. He is my hero. Look at how he killed this demon, how he killed that demon. And when Kṛṣṇa Balaram enters Mathura, you read how there is a description how they enters into Mathura and then handles the various scenarios, including visiting a devotee's place and receiving 2 garlands. And you see fascinating descriptions. So that kind of a perception that yes, my Lord, my master, is so beautiful, is so fascinating, and is so romantic. You see his leelas of such kind also, madhurya. So the Lord is a multifaceted Supreme Personality. Every feature is there. He is also a living entity, and but he has got supreme these tendencies. One of the tendencies of the Lord is that even he becomes fascinated by his own beauty. It is explained in Dwaraka, once Kṛṣṇa, he saw his own form reflected on the floor. He becomes fascinated by looking at that form. That tendency is there in us also. When we go in front of the mirror to put the tilak, we become so fascinated. We get delayed for arati because of that. So much fascinated by our own body. The only twist is that is not our body. I am not this body. That's the beginning. So whenever you are go in front of the mirror, you see, okay, this is not me. I am not this body. That's the first cheating begins there. Maya's first cheating. As we become fascinated thinking that it is my body, but actually that's not our body. Our basic lesson is that I am not this body. So here it is explained that this Vaikuntha is Swayam Prabham, self-illuminated. Again, in the beginning days, this was a fascinating description. In some places, Prabhupada explains little humorously. He says there is Krishna's abode, either Goloka or Vaikuntha. There is no sun, and there is no moon, and there is no electricity. It's all looking common. And Prabhupada says, there is no electricity bill. People are harassed by electricity bills. So, wow, this is nice. So, there is one interesting verse, something similar, but from the Upanishads. Prabhupada quotes in one place, he says, Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. There is no sun, there is no Chandra. Tarakam means there are no stars. Nema vidyuto. See, vidyut. No electricity. No vidyuto bhanti kutoyam agnihi. There is no need of electricity. So what to speak of ignited lamps? This is what this Upanishad is asking. Kutoyam agnihi. What is the need of lighting some lamps there? Tamaiva bhantam anubhati sarvam. On the other hand, it is because of those planets are self-illuminating that all effulgence has become possible. If at all you see any effulgence, ultimately it has come from this original effulgence that is coming from these Vaikuntha planets. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. So whatever dazzling is due to the reflection of that Swadhama. Very interesting. More details we can get. So whatever effulgence we are seeing, it's all because of the original effulgence that is coming from Kṛṣṇa. It is said that moon is reflecting the light of the sun, and but the sun itself is reflecting the Brahma Jyoti, and Brahma Jyoti is simply a reflection of the Krishna's bodily effulgence. So ultimately it is Kṛṣṇa who is the source of everything. So this is the as soon as we see Kṛṣṇa, then our understanding is complete. And as soon as we miss out on Kṛṣṇa, we don't see Kṛṣṇa, then we will be caught up with a partial picture. This is what happened to the sages or anybody else who are fascinated by impersonal effulgence. They are fascinated by a partial picture. They don't know that the effulgence is coming from Kṛṣṇa. So, as soon as we become caught up in a partial picture, our actions are called Maya, the illusory. We in this world, particularly, everybody is caught up with very, very partial pictures. They cannot see the connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the problem. So that's why the Prabhupada Acharya, he comes, and if you see Prabhupada's purports, any of his words, you see always he will be mentioning Kṛṣṇa, 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 Kṛṣṇa. Because this is important. Unless Kṛṣṇa is there in the picture, your understanding is not complete. And without that complete picture, your actions will be not complete. So here it is mentioned, Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport, these Vaikuntha planets are, everything is complete. After all, Kṛṣṇa is personally present, everything is complete. They are self-sufficient and independent. These planets are as independent as Kṛṣṇa. The way Kṛṣṇa expands into many, many forms, these planets also expand. Vaikuntha is not limited to what is there in the spiritual sky, but even the Vaikuntha planets or Vrindavan can expand. Prabhupada says, wherever Kṛṣṇa's holy name is chanted, wherever there is Sankirtan going on, and there is a proper worship of the lordships is going on, then that place becomes Vrindavan. And so Vrindavan expands. It is not just limited to the spiritual sky. So both the abodes, the material world and the spiritual world, both are abodes of the Supreme Lord only, but the spiritual world is self-sufficient, self-illuminated and independent, and everything is complete there. Actually, one should meditate on this sentences. In the Bhagavad-gītā Purport, Prabhupada says, one should become fascinated by hearing these descriptions about the Supreme Abode. How we can develop the fascination? If you can closely compare with our experience of this world, then you will see how that world will be. There will be a big difference that we can perceive. Actually, according to one Upanishad, we can understand these descriptions based on our own experience which is going on in this world. For example, here nothing is self-illuminating. Only one body is apparently self-illuminating, that is the sun. But otherwise, nothing else is self-illuminating. We see sun as the self-illuminating. Always, every day it is releasing so much of effulgence and heat and all that. But actually, even the sun is not self-illuminating. It is deriving its power from the Brahma Jyoti, the illumination from Brahma Jyoti. So one has to absorb the mind in the details of Prabhupada's purports, in the details of the shloka, and to the details of each and every word. Nayana Ananda Bhajanam, this Sanskrit, so nice, very pleasing to the heart. So one has to absorb his mind into these individual words. Prabhupada says, just to understand one word in Bhagavatam, it takes months. But we are so confident that we have understood everything. But actually, Prabhupada is saying, just to understand one word, it takes so much time, months together. Prabhupada quotes his spiritual master Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati and how he gave Bhagavatam classes on the first shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam for months together. I'm sure he can go on for years together also, but we are not ready. So, what is that which is making it, because it is unlimited. Bhagavatam is also Kṛṣṇa, is Brahma Samhitam. It is Krishna's incarnation, and each and every word is full of innumerable meanings. So Mahaprabhu has shown how to analyze these shlokas and see various angles of understanding Krishna. He gives, what is that shloka? He gives so many meanings. Atma Rama. So similarly, actually that's the depth to which we have to absorb ourselves in the Bhagavatam study. Self-sufficient, for example, here the word which is Atma Ramascha Munayo. Here also there is a Munaya, Munaya Društva. See, actually if you can connect like that and then see various angles, a devotee will be very satisfied. All the devotees are coming from intellectual backgrounds, intellectual exercise. And particularly studying Bhagavatam, studying Kṛṣṇa Siddhanta, Mahaprabhu's Chaitanya Charitamrita, that author, Krishnaras Kaviraj Goswami, he says, Na alasakara. One should not be lazy in understanding the Siddhanta, Kṛṣṇa Siddhanta, Tattva. We should not be lazy. And what is our laziness? We don't focus sufficiently on each and every word, each and every line of this Bhagavatam shlokas and purports. So if somebody can see various angles to this, that is the best reading. Prabhupada also mentions that one should read from various angles of vision. from various perspectives. How it is applicable to FTM, how it is applicable to somebody who is practicing from outside, how is it applicable to somebody who is a gruhastha and a businessman, a professional. There's so many people are there. For everybody, we should not present it in the same angle. We should not be talking from the point of view of an FTM's angle. We should, now this is the challenge of a preacher. For a preacher, what is the challenge in preaching? Everywhere you can go and say, you are not this body, your spirit, soul. Everywhere you can say. But the goal of preaching is that the audience should be able to understand and able to relate with you. So, Prabhupada used to do that. Wherever he used to go, he used to bring certain elements into his preaching. If he is speaking something in France, he will say Napoleon. Look at this Napoleon statue here. But where is Napoleon now? Where has he gone? His statue is here, but where has he gone? So he used to connect it like that and then invoke an interest in the audience. So this is the challenge for all of us. For example, this let us say you go to an RSS connected some kind of a group you're addressing. Now how should I plan my class? Recently they had one yoga camp in Hyderabad. There are many hundreds and thousands of people who do these yogasanas, they all came. Now you are supposed to address them. Now what will you say? You cannot say it's all useless. Why unnecessarily this body is anyway, you are not this body anyway. That's correct, but you have to bring it to that level. He is in a certain level. Now slowly you have to bring his understanding, and at the end of it you should know that yes, what I am doing is not complete. I have to do something beyond this. He should be brought to that level. Of course, Kṛṣṇa's mercy. Once I was invited for this Agarwal's, some Agarwal Samaj, some kind of an event is there. Thinking what to present and this and that. By Lord's mercy, there is one idea. What is that? I went and told, our Hare Krishna movement, how it started. Prabhupada went to America. And you know who gave the passport? Gopal Agarwal. They are all clapping. Agarwals, you have built it up. Now build our temple also. Please do this also. So it's very important that they get connected to us. And our movement has everything in place to connect anybody. Anybody you can connect them to our movement. That is the beauty. So, but for that we have to understand certain detailed study, and each and every statement we have to take it carefully, and if you have an opportunity, then spend time on preparing. It's not just routine thing. Preaching means you have to spend time and plan your words, plan your sentences, rehearse once or twice, and then go, and then present confidently. So that's the challenge. Otherwise, all the statements, all the philosophy, everything is clear. In fact, our devotees can quote all the shlokas. Some of them can quote all the shlokas. The key is to get the attention of the audience. So, These are the opportunities Prabhupada has given, these wonderful purports. Whenever we read Prabhupada books, one important criteria is this pranipat. In one place, pranipat means, Prabhupada says, very interestingly, pranipat means a blank slate. Blank slate means, no? Current and this. He says, we have to approach Prabhupada books, we have to approach his classes or any class as a blank slate. That is called pranipat. Just before entering, kali karo, your slate ko kali karo, and then you enter. That means I am a fool number one in front of my Guru. And Prabhupada says, if you can remain fool number one whole life, your life is successful. See, it's ulta. Day by day we should be becoming more learned and more scholarly and more this and that. Prabhupada is saying, yes, but you should remain fool number one in front of your Guru. So this we have to practice. Before entering, make it blank. I don't know anything. Let me hear fresh today. Let me hear something which is very important for me. So like that, a devotee has to ensure his context is set properly, his consciousness is set properly, then he can relish these shlokas and purports of Prabhupada. I'll stop here. Any questions? Srila Prabhupada, yes.
You said that devotees should do analysis of a given verse as they have come from intellectual background. So
Yeah.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu analyzed that Atma Rama Shloka.
Yeah.
So, but then won't that be mental speculation or something? Like we are unnecessarily trying to bring meaning to a verse or something like that. Like how do we know that our meanings are correct or not? Our perspectives are correct or not?
There is something called mental speculation, and there is one more word which is called philosophical speculation. Mental speculation is condemned, and philosophical speculation is encouraged. What is the difference? Mental speculation has no basis, no shastric basis, whereas philosophical speculation means the basis is Shastra. You are taking a Shastric statement and you are trying to understand. And so your understanding appears to be like speculating, but your conclusion is same. That means you take the word, Vaikuntha planets are self-illuminating. You are trying to understand. Let us say your conclusion is, Vaikuntha also requires a lot of electricity, let us say. That becomes mental speculation. There is no basis for your conclusion. But let us say your conclusion is, Vaikuntha planets are self-illuminating, then that is called philosophical speculation. No problem, you can understand. In whatever way you want, you can understand. Conclusion should be that. So that's why Prabhupada used to say, some of his scientific disciples used to say, you should do research. You should do research of all this Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. You should do research. Now what is he talking? Why is he asking them to do research into this? Everything is clear. So from where we are, if you want to take people to Bhagavatam statements, there is a path that you have to show them. That's the research. And that is allowed. That is allowed. Don't change the conclusions. Then our whatever speculation, thinking, everything is nice. But if there is conclusions are against the Prabhupada's teachings, then it becomes mental speculation. That becomes gambling. And so that is, in one sense, subtly it breaks the regulative principle. So we should stick on to scientific transcendental research. See, there are two types of logic and reasoning. The logic and reasoning which we see in these mundane scientists, by which they are trying to figure out what is the ultimate goal. But there is one more kind of a reasoning and argumentation that is possible, and that is through the books of Prabhupada. Prabhupada also logically explains, very with great logic and reasoning, he elaborates points. Like he's saying, here, what is that? For example, in the Upanishadic verse I have shown, that verse is saying, there is no need of sun, there is no need of moon and stars, there is no need of electricity. So what is there a need to light the lamps? Now there is a logic in this, right? Sun is not required, moon is not required, electricity is not required. Then what is the need of lighting some lamps? That is also not required. So there is a logic is there. So there is a transcendental logic. We are not against logic, reason, argument and all that, but we are against concluding something against Prabhupada's teachings. So there's nothing wrong. Yes, we can try to understand from various angles, and that will really strengthen our mind. Chaitanya Charitamrita author Krishnadas Kaviraj Maharaj says, it will strengthen your mind. That complete verse I not able to recollect. Na ala sakara he says, but he says your mind will become very strong. Anybody can quote? Then Sudruda Manasa. Your mind will become very strong, fully convinced. Why? Because you have spent time, you have understood various angles. Any question may come. It may not be from outsiders. Our own mind capable of giving so many questions. Harassment. If you can answer your mind, you are a greatest preacher. Automatically. It is like that. So, it is always good to see what is our question or possible doubts, and then prepare ourselves. Very important. So spend time. Maybe first reading you can just go through briskly. Just one reading you give. Second reading though you have to spend more time. Third reading even more time. Madhuban Prabhu used to tell me that you should read Bhagavad-gītā 8 times. 8 or 9 times. And then Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. At least we have to read twice. Because first reading is anyway little briskly it's going on. One more we have to at least read. So 2 times Bhagavatam, 2 times Chaitanya Charitamrita. Every day if you read one Bhagavatam will take 3 to 4 years. And Chaitanya Charitamrita. And then again you have to read once again. And this time little more elaborately. Focusing on each word. So we have a very big project ourselves to do. And if you can do that project nicely, other projects will come up automatically. If we can do our own projects, our sadhana, our reading nicely, then Prabhupada also gives one important instruction. Don't allow anything, either inside or external force, no force should disturb your devotional service. You should ensure that. A devotee has only one challenge. He will not allow anything to hamper his devotional service to Kṛṣṇa. That's it. It could be internal force, external force, any other influence, Maya, this, that, everything. You are always fascinated by his devotional offerings to Kṛṣṇa. It's easy to blame this circumstance, somebody else, and this and that, and many other things. But actually, a devotee's core challenge is not to allow any of these things to disturb his services to Kṛṣṇa. So this is the fundamental principle. If you remember, everything else you can adjust. and you can progress nicely in the spiritual life. Any other question? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Dandava.
Yeah.
So my question is that this Prabhupada says Pranipat blank state, but sometime we hear lecture and some devotees quoting some words or some context that we have read multiple times before. So that time mindly pleasures comes like I know it, and attention span on that lecture become loosened. So is it right or wrong, or it is wrong? How to make it right?
Actually, we should approach Bhagavad-gītā or Bhagavatam or even Bhagavatam class. We should approach in the mood of servitude. But generally, we approach with the mood of control. That's what I was saying in the class also. If you approach with the mood of control, then yes, I already heard, I know, I can quote all the 4 lines. Maybe from the back to front, front to back, I can quote the verse. You control fully. But actually, that is not the mood of our approach. Any transcendental subject, you should approach always in the mood of servitude. Not in the mode of control, not in the mode of enjoying. Okay, so when we think that I already know, that's all, you are cutting off. You are already in the mood of, you master, I am already master of this verse. I am a master of this whatever passage that Prabhu is quoting. That's why today I have not selected the Bhagavad-gītā shloka. Natat bhasayate shuryo na shashanka. Because 90% will sleep. I got one Upanishadic similar verse, but slightly different. So immediately we are all very attentive. Something naya. This is the mood. Naya. New chahiye mujhko. New. So that's why Prabhupada is saying, when you are approaching this Bhagavatam, yes, we should approach in the mode of servitude. Servant means is always eager. What am I going to learn today? What is the order that I am going to get today? Is eager for service. Even prasadam also. We should approach in the mode of servitude. Not in the mode of naya. Kya hai naya? It could be khichdi every week. Still you should come. In Bangalore, after Bhagavatam class, we give khichdi. Khichdi and little fryams or one more little item. That's all. Decades together we give only khichdi. But to eat that khichdi, people come in BMW cars and Ford cars. They stop there and then they rush to get the khichdi. They don't attend the class, but they are there for khichdi. So we should be like that. Always eager to serve prasadam. Is it something new, no? Serve prasadam. So in that service you can take pleasure. Our pleasure is in serving. That is the right understanding. By giving service, we should become happy. We should take pleasure in that. Then that sets the whole thing. Next time onwards, before you entering, you remember blank slate. कुछ भी मालूम नहीं. I am fool number 1. And then you enter. And then you see how your mind is acting, creating all illusions. It's saying, no, already malum hai, pata hai, ye hai, wo hai. You can hear the commentary. Like cricket commentary goes on, no? Like yesterday, we were traveling in the flight. Even in the flight, they are telling commentary now. Now the score is this, score is that, score is this. So similarly, our mind continuously, there is a chatter, commentary going on. So you have to, if you can replace that with Bhagavatam statements, the sounds of Bhagavatam, you are liberated. If you can replace those mundane sounds, liberated. So it takes time to understand this mood, to understand this attitude, service attitude. We have to carefully practice this. Then slowly we will understand. Any other? So we'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.